All right, so we are back with another review here on YouTube. These are tracks that I essentially select from our Pro Feedback members to give them a little bit extra feedback, a little bit of extra guidance with their membership in Pro Feedback. So if you do want me to review your music, you will need to join us in Pro Feedback for that to be possible. So this is a track. It's an orchestral trailer, minimal tension track, kind of a hybrid of a few different things going on from Varun, one of our members. So I'm going to go ahead and take a listen here and hopefully try to give him some helpful tips, some helpful notes. And obviously the reason why I put these videos out on YouTube is because I want these to be helpful for you guys as well. So if you're doing music like this, or you're considering getting into music like this, maybe these notes can help you steer clear of maybe some common mistakes and some common things that a lot of producers fall into. But let's go ahead and take a listen and see what's going on here. Varun, I'm smiling because you are so talented. You are really bringing this amazing, tense energy to this track. And there's a lot of, most of this track is pretty much working. There's basically just one thing that it needs, and that is a little bit more development in terms of probably some percussion and some drums and maybe a couple of instruments here and there to kind of pick up the energy as it develops. But like as a skeleton, as a sort of first jump at this type of music, the structure is perfect. The music is beautiful. It's got this creepy tension going on. I loved how you build it up at the end. This is my favorite part at the very end. You had this amazing just tension and this really beautiful, these strings coming in, these staccato strings and longer strings. Everything about this is just awesome, and I love how we sort of build in the beginning, take a little break here, and then we build at the end. But basically what was missing was a little bit of an introduction of some drums, some low thuds, a little bit of percussion, a little bit of, we need a little bit of that low-end energy, percussive energy, because that's what's going to basically crank up the intensity of this track. As this stands right now, this would be a great alt mix, like an alternative version of the full version of this track. So this would be, if you submitted this track to a library, I would say this could be something where you call it the, strings and piano alt mix, where you take out all the drums, and maybe there would be a use case for something like this where it's really stripped down and there's nothing going on. But even in the minimal genre and the minimal category that you were trying to fit into, drums still need to be there, unless specifically noted otherwise or requested from a library you're working with, or if you're researching a library and you find that they have just albums and albums of music just like this with no drums at all, it's just piano and strings building up the tension, then of course just go in that direction. But I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10 they're going to want a little bit of a pulsing, a little bit of a kind of a tribal low kick drum, some toms, maybe even a little bit of a marching snare drum can come in. and definitely some transitional elements. So as we move from one section to another, especially like right here, as we're kind of building up to some tension before we take this break. So leading right up until 111, we should have a little bit of a rise, a little bit of a reverse swell, a cymbal, whatever you want to do, whatever you feel is the right sound for that. And just a little bit, not a lot. We don't need to go overboard. This is definitely not a trailer track, so you don't want to have these massive, huge riser sounds or anything like that. Just a little lift up, boom, and then a little thud, a low impact, like a thunderous crack, something that just sort of boom, releases us into this nice calm section and then rises back up with more transitional elements as we go into the last section. But I would basically keep this track as is. I don't think you really have to do anything in terms of its structure or anything like that. So we just need to now beef it up, add up a little bit more intensity to it. And I think really, I dare to say maybe it's just drums that it needs. I don't even know if it really needs anything else. I mean, maybe you can throw in a couple of little, like a creepy violin that kind of comes in here and there, maybe a little bit of a lead guitar, or even palm muted kind of creepy, tense palm muted guitars, boom, 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 something like that. Maybe here and there could add a little bit to it, but as it's working, I really think just some drums and maybe like a pulsing bass synth would probably take this track to where it really, really needs to go. So mix is sounding awesome. The instruments are amazing. Your composition skills are so beautiful. This is one of these things that, we have we have like basically 120 hours of tutorials in Sync Academy. And so we definitely do try to share, myself and all the other pros that I've gathered on board to teach you guys our tips and tricks. We do try to reveal to you how we compose and what our ideas are and what our thinking is. We do try to be as transparent and open our minds as possibly as much as we can. But a lot of it cannot really be taught. I mean, you either have just this innate skill and your ears can pick up on how to compose melodies and how to go forward with your music, or it's a skill you're still working on. So it's not something that you are necessarily, you start composing music and you're going to have it, but it's something that you have to kind of develop yourself as you compose. So Varun, you have this skill, whether or not you were just born with it or you've been developing it. You can just hear it in your music that you have this innate ability to take your listener on a journey. And that's what I was smiling over, because from the very beginning of the track to the very end, I was just loving it. And you were pulling me into your very, very clear emotion. We were very focused throughout the track. I didn't feel like we were veering off into different emotional points or different genres or anything like that. So you just have an amazing ability to keep your listener on a ride. And that's what's so important for all of you guys watching this. Sync music, production music, it's about taking your audience, which is going to be a TV viewer pretty much, on an audio journey. I call these, audio films. So you want to start us in one place, you want to lead us to a new place, you want to give us a little break, and you want to rise us back up. So take us on an emotional roller coaster, keeping it all focused, of course, in one direction. But excellent work, Varun. I think you're going to be in a great place with this kind of music, and I hope any of you guys that want to get into this style of music can potentially use this as a reference track, because this is amazing stuff, and this is just really, really well composed. Just needs a little bit more production here to take it to that next level that I think a library would jump all over this. So well done, man. And if any of you guys do want to join us in Pro Feedback, you can always learn more about the platform and what we offer in that service in the description box below of this video. So see you guys in the next video.